Still MiVu, still Tibu, and now we're gonna do the first entry of the Mega Man X series, the Mega Man X. Who knew? In my opinion, one of the better games. Like the speedrun has like its ups and downs, as you will see, but gaming-wise, I think this game is pretty well made. So, Tibu, would you count me down again?
I will count you down in 3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty. So, unlike in the previous 2 games, we are actually starting off without dash. So no dashing here. So the intro stage is basically holding right and mashing, even though I kind of hate it when people say, oh, you only hold right because you have to turn around to kill the beast. It kind of always irks me, but I just did it myself. So yeah, so basically this is the first entry in the series, so it kind of starts off differently, where you have to collect even the dash upgrade to be able to dash. It became standard after this game, but in this game it's something that it is a forced upgrade. So the game was intended to be used with the dash, but the design choice was to kind of hide the capsule in one of the Maverick stages.
And that basically makes like the first Maverick will always be the same in every regular category, because you get the dash feature.
Yeah. So this stage can actually be pretty tricky, especially in a marathon setting, even though it kind of looks like MiVu is just going right and mashing. But there's quite a lot of RNG in this stage. In fact, the bees are RNG. What the bees do, they can give you a good pattern or a bad pattern. There's 3 different things they can do, which kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It determines your health for the rest of the stage. And I'm actually quite surprised that MiVu was going for the trick called task cars there, where we ride the car. It saves about a second, which it can also be kind of RNG dependent, and it depends on your health situation after the bees, etc.
And the bullets can hit you mid-air if you don't pay attention. You could basically die just right there.
Yeah.
Alright.
And while here is a forced boss fight, well, forced loss, I should say. I mean, every boss fight is forced, except the ones you skip. The ship can also, like, it doesn't really matter in a marathon setting, but if you're doing attempts, the ship can be good or bad, it can waste a lot of time. Vial can be good or bad, it can waste a lot of time. There's a lot of, like, the intro stage when doing attempts in this game is very reset heavy because of the...
It's also pretty, like, exhausting because you do mash quite a bit. Yeah, and the Vial fight is scripted and you lose there, that's why we take damage across the stage. So we get to the fight with 3 HP or less, so the fight space doesn't even start. He just captures us and then we get going to the next one.
So a few things here, I mean we're going here because of the aforementioned dash boots, so you get them here, which is why you always go Penguin first, because, you know, it's like getting the dash boots is like the biggest time save in the whole game, basically. And something also that I want to mention is, you saw MiVu start off the intro stage and this stage with a jump. Actually, did you do it?
Yep, I did.
Do you always? I did. Yeah. Because you don't always do that, but yeah. So basically, if you start off this walking stage, these 2 walking stages with a jump, you actually start to move a bit faster than you would if you were just holding right. And I explained the slope jumps during X2, but what you saw here was MiVu doing these turnaround slope jumps. So because he was facing a slope going upwards, he turned around to walk down the slope and then jump to get the jump in slope speed, which is faster than the walking speed. And then he would turn around to have the slope speed kind of carry him in the air, like carry him towards the direction he was going to. Saves a little bit of time, although they're really precise and it can be hard to do them well enough to save time with them.
Yeah, like Penguin is one of the...
Penguin stage is actually like one of the tougher stages in the game. Like which is kind of amusing. It's the first stage.
And so is the boss in speedrunning wise, which doesn't look like it, and most casuals say this is the easiest one, but trust me, it's not.
Yeah, Penguin has to be like the... I don't necessarily want to say the hardest, but one of the hardest in the series. To do fast, I mean. So basically, he's not scripted at all. You only have the Buster. And he can basically do anything at any time. So there's a lot of like reading. That's actually a pretty good thing. Yep. There's a lot of reading and predicting and preparing in this fight. You need to kind of be on the level, like at all times, you know, being prepared for every attack. It's really hard to teach even, and it's hard to like grasp what the difficulty is just by watching it. But if you want to do it fast, it's very, very, very hard. And here's something that I want to explain about the routing. So we go to Penguin first because of the boost, but a lot of people are always confused about Hwanger's second. It's so counterintuitive, like if you only play the game casually. So basically, we want to come here because we want the boomerang as fast as possible, and you'll see why later. And also, we have a stun lock strat for Hwanger, which is actually not that much slower than it would be to fight him with this weakness. And it's really not even that hard. And also, we can collect the upgrade here without like basically any other upgrades other than you know the boots. So we can get everything here, we can do the boss pretty fast, and getting the boomerang early just ends up saving so much time that whatever little time you lose by not having the missiles here, you gain, you know, from having the boomerang early.
Because it's like the most broken weapon, and you hopefully will see why in a bit.
Really super tough stage.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people say the toughest in the game. It's super vertical. And vertical movement in this game, in this speedruns. Oh, nice! First try, iceless, dude. Easy. So that is what we call iceless. So there is a way to do a very specific type of jump to grab the heart without the ice lid or the boomerang. A lot of people either use the ice lid,
or come back to it,
or they revisit the stage with the boomerang, which is, you know, the weapon you get here. But the iceless is like the most famous trick in the game.
Yeah, and it's actually like one of the harder things to learn. I feel like when you when you know iceless, you understood the game and the physics around it, because iceless is all about knowledge.
Yeah, there is a more to the trick than meets the eye, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, I'm just, you know, dash jumping to the wall here. There's science to it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but it's pretty tough.
Yeah, basically in all these SNES games, X can actually kick off walls without touching the wall. So basically, if you are just if you are like 7 pixels away from a wall, you can still kick off of it, and that's like what you take advantage of there. So you kick off the wall without touching the wall, so you get further to the right, so to be able to reach the ledge. And here's a big make or break trick here. I'll give MiVu the chance to focus, and I'll explain later.
So close.
Yeah,
Dang.
very tough. So, what MiVu is trying here is something we call a phantom grab, which is like the big gimmick in X1 speedrunning.
You can keep talking, it's okay.
Okay, so basically what we want to do here is we want to collect an item, an item of the boomerang 1 frame before some other item of a specific list of items spawns into the game's memory. And when we do that, said other item, in this case the heart tank, actually spawns into X's boomerang as opposed to spawning where it's supposed to spawn. And the reason this happens is when you collect the item of the boomerang, like the first item, like the health pickup there, it releases, it like frees up a space in memory. And then you go forward 1 frame and the heart tank loads into the game. The game doesn't put the heart tank where it's supposed to be, it just looks, oh, like here's a free space in memory that's just like freed up, so I'll just put the heart tank here, which happens to be the boomerang. So I hope that makes sense. And that's basically something that we can do here to break the game entirely. Well, not entirely, it's still like relatively glitch free if you compare it to, you know, some other speedruns, but X1 is definitely the most glitch heavy of the SNES speedruns.
Yeah, hopefully you'll see another example of the Phantom Grab in the next stage, which might make things a little more easy to understand, because this was like relatively quick and you don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, and also with the explanation kind of been given, so you can kind of pay attention more. But yeah, also, there's nothing to talk about this boss here, and it's basically the casual strat is the speed strat, you just use boomerangs. But the mini-boss here, which MiVu killed to collect the armor, he's actually weak to the same weapon as Chameleon himself. So there's some, like, optimization there. You don't want to use up all your boomerangs, because you want to have boomerangs here. So there's some slight optimization there, but yeah, the boomerangs do like 1 more damage than the dash lemon does, I think.
Yeah, it's 3.
1 or 2.
Yeah, it's not that much. Yeah, one thing you will notice that you haven't seen in X3 and X2, I'm trying to end the fight in the center of the stage, because in this game X will always walk to the center afterwards, so you want to be as close to the center as possible.
Yeah, that's a good call. I forgot to mention. So here's a really cool trick. Another Phantom Grab.
Nice. Let's go.
Got it. Yes. So, like I said, this is another Phantom Grab, but instead of, you know, the heart tank, the item that we collected was one of kind of the platforms of the elevator thing there. So same logic as before. You collect the heart, like in a specific spot, and then you move forward as you collect it, and then, you know, the item spawns in your boomerang. The main reason it saves time is normally if you do the stage like casually, you need to wait on the 1 pillar before the sub tank, you know, to go up so you can collect the sub tank.
And you have to collect the heart anyway, so you have to
exactly,
go there.
yeah.
I'm just gonna pick that one up.
And also, the boomerang actually travels faster than X dashes. So the idea of flying with the item is that because the boomerang is trying to catch up to you all the time, and it's attached to the platform, so the boomerang kind of pushes the platform in boomerang speed, which in turn pushes X in boomerang speed, which is, you know, faster than dashing. So that's why we want to take advantage of it, basically.
My favorite trick, like all of video gaming. It looks cool. It's like you have to understand it, but then it's actually like not too hard. Like carpet isn't one of the harder tricks to do in this game, but there are movement optimizations that are way harder than specific single tricks, I would say. Like doing mandrill or Kuwanger in a good way is like 10 times harder than getting like 1 single trick. That's at least what I would say.
Yeah, for sure. And also, forgot to mention, but this is basically by far the most RNG heavy of the Super Nintendo speedruns. So Penguin was pretty good here, and Eagle was basically the god pattern there, but they can also give you really bad RNG. And when doing attempts, you are in Penguin jail a lot, and intro jail a lot, you're in Eagle jail a lot. A lot of really like recent heavy RNG bosses. The RNG doesn't really let up in this game.
No, not at all.
Except the boss in this stage is pretty much RNG free.
Yeah, and like you saw me die to the Chameleon Phantom Grab, and that's basically a reset, and you're like 8 minutes into the run already. Oops.
Yeah.
That's not what should happen.
And also, the reason reason for the Phantom Grab in Chameleon stage. This is the fastest route. There are some like other routes, but this is basically optimal route. And the biggest reason is that we want to get the Chameleon weapon as early as possible, because it is Eagle's weakness. And in the other route, we have to fight Eagle with the Buster, and we do Chameleon a little later, because you know, if you don't do the Phantom Grab, you need some other stuff to get the heart there. Yep.
Yeah, so
but the Eagle fight with the Buster is like very, very, very RNG heavy hell. It is horrible.
Like
so even though the trick
weakness
in Chameleon stage is annoying, but the Buster Eagle fight is even more annoying.
Like the having the weakness in Eagle makes like a 16-shot fight into an 11-shot fight, which is like.
So basically, because the fight takes less time, he has less opportunities to give you bad RNG.
Yeah.
And also, you know,
it
takes less hits. So. But this route is really fun once you get past the trick in Chameleon, because you can use the charged up C sting in like the rest of the stages, starting in this stage basically, which makes X invincible, and you can just go through everything. But there's another reason to use up the C sting weapon. And that is that once the C sting is active, X's sprite is actually not drawn on screen on every frame. So we use it in laggy sections to make it so that X's sprite... Now that looked like something I would do. Like, I always struggle with that stuff saying.
I wanted you to feel at home.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really comfortable right now.
By the way, great news.
But yeah, this is like the other infamously hard stage in the game. Like, Huanger is the hard vertical stage, whereas this stage is the hard, like, horizontal stage. And also, some people are sometimes confused about the boss orders done in these speedruns, because they think that, well, I mean, isn't the weakness order just, you know, the fastest order? But they often forget about the mini-bosses, which all also have weaknesses, just like the main bosses. And these Mega Man X speedruns are actually pretty heavily routed around the mini-bosses, because if you don't have the optimal, like, quick kill weakness weapons to use on the mini-bosses, they can waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
So that is something that is taken into account when rounding these games. Like, the mini-boss there, Slimer, in this stage, can be really, really annoying if you don't do exactly what MiVu did there with the tornado weapon. So, Mandrill is very similar to, like, a casual fight, but his iframes actually run out a bit faster than you would assume, even though he is frozen. So you can actually like attack him way sooner than you would assume. Basically, and you just basically want to time those shots so that you get them in just as his iframes run out, and you can kind of stun lock him. And you would stun lock him casually too, but it's a bit different.
One thing we didn't mention, unfortunately, because it's over, but the stages change in depending on the order you do them. Could you maybe elaborate on that, Timo?
Yeah, so basically, it doesn't really come into play that... Well, actually it does. So basically, once you do Penguin, Mammoth stage changes. Once you do Octo, there's a change in the Chameleon stage. And the change in Chameleon stage is actually what allows you to get the heart normally. There's water there in the stage, and there's water in the cave, and the water physics allow you to go all the way to the heart, so you don't have to do speedrun glitches to get it. And also, when you beat Eagle stage before Mandrill stage, the ship crashes into Mandrill stage, and
out of electricity.
Yeah, hexed up the electricity there, and actually made the stage a bit easier. Also, you saw MiVu actually kind of skip the items, both items in this stage. He tried to grab the heart, but he didn't. So basically what he was trying to do was a no-stop strat to grab the heart, but he didn't get it. And we're coming back here later, so it wasn't worth like wasting time
Lucky.
trying to get the heart, because we're gonna be doing that section a lot to get the OP weapon at the end. And there's also a Phantom grab for the sub-tank at the beginning of the stage, which MiVu was trying to do, but it's really hard and RNG heavy again.
The hardest of the Phantom grabs by far.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dillo was super kind, like he stopped rolling immediately. Because as long as Dillo rolls in the beginning, he's invincible. And there are videos out there where he rolls for like 30 seconds.
Yes, very
It's
infamous.
Incredible.
Twitch clips.
Yeah, so that would be like
So-
19 minutes in, another run breaker. Like nothing you could do, and get back to the highway on intro.
Yeah. So actually, I would say that me was getting some pretty decent RNG in this run.
Yeah.
So you're not really getting to see what this game can be at its worst. But a lot of the good RNG in this game, in this run, can also be bad RNG later on. Octo Stage is one of my personal favorites. The mini bosses here are weak to desisting as well as the rolling shield. Normally in the other routes we don't have desisting, and we also need rolling shield for the boss here, so we can't like use the weakness weapon on them for the full fight. I mean, we use it on the first one, but not the other one. But another nice thing about this route is that we have desisting here, so we can just kill him with it.
So you don't have to pay
Making
attention
it
to
way,
health.
way easier.
Yep. Not health, ammo, sorry.
And also, nice trivia, the snakes in the stage are actually officially weak to boomerangs, but no one ever does it, because the tornado also quick kills them. And the reason for that is that, unlike, I think, every other mini-boss in the game, the snakes actually don't have iframes. And the tornado does quick work of anything that doesn't have iframes. The tornado doesn't really work on any of the other mini-bosses because they have iframes, so when a boss has iframes, the tornado actually doesn't really, it's not really that effective. And Octo here is like he's like the Maverick final boss RNG. He can really like heck you up,
Yeah.
because he can do that attack where he throws his own tornado of sorts and does the energy drain attack. So not only is he invincible, but he also sucks your energy and gets more energy, meaning you need to do more hits on him.
And like a few years ago, we used to mash out of that attack, but that could make you like get killed by him, like to get infinited. But luckily, there's a new way found, so you enter with a charge. You charge the fire wave, and that like makes him let go of you immediately.
Yeah, so that was a nice like accidental thing found in this game, where if you hold fire wave during the energy drain attack, the fire wave actually counts as a perfect 30 Hz Nash, meaning that Octo instantly does release you. Well, he does one stock, but after that one
Yeah,
stock,
but
he
that's
instantly releases you.
Yeah, so we have like this revisit because there's no way to get this hard without the fire wave. And now we have to do like lots and lots and lots of Dillo stage, because like that's needed to get the secret weapon. Do you know, would you mind explaining that?
Yeah, so basically he has another chance at the Phantom grab here. So let's see if he gets it first.
No drop.
No. Yep. So you need those drops to get the Phantom grabs, and obviously they're RNG. But basically, just like the Shoryuken in X2, X1 also has like a Street Fighter weapon, which in this case is the Hadouken. So to obtain the Hadouken, And there's a lot of misinformation out there
Yeah.
about the Hadouken. And the reason for that is that because the magazine that first revealed the Hadou to the public back in the day actually got it wrong. And that is the reason. So, to get the Hadouken, you need to see the spot. Like, the camera needs to pan to the spot where the Hadouken capsule spawns. Like 4 times in total. It doesn't need to be in order. So we do the first visit actually the first time we're in the stage when we fight Dillo. So we do 4 of these visits, as we call them. So we see the spot. And then on the 5th time, we need all the bosses beaten and all the upgrades collected and full health.
Yep.
Yes. And then the capsule will spawn. So it's one visit when we first come here, then we do 3 of these suicide visits, and then the final visit where the auto capsule is there, if you did everything correctly. But you don't need full stuff tanks, you don't need full lives or anything like that. All you need is all the bosses beaten and all the items collected and full health on the final one.
So feasibly would have like a minute of downtime if there's anything to read, to announce. Now would be a great time. Oops, that was... Oh. I'm not sure about that, is it?
I feel like it might have been.
I got like 8,000 one-ups, so that's good.
Yeah. And obviously, the reason we die here is simply because it is the fastest way. You don't have to die here, that's another thing. But when we die here, we actually spawn, at the checkpoints.
So prior to this attempt, I didn't go up high enough, and the card put me down. So I didn't see the spot where it was supposed to be, and so now there should have been a capsule, but it wasn't. Luckily, I got enough one-ups to make up for it. And that's like something we have to take into account, because the lives one-ups are pretty limited, and you usually end up at this spot with 0 lives left.
Yeah. It's really handy. There is that one totally free one-up in Chameleon stage, which we can grab without wasting any time, which is, again, one of those wacky things about this game that just happens to line up the way it does.
Okay.
Alright, the Sigma stages.
Action.
The stages themselves are way easier in this game than in X2, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they can really trip you over still. They're not like free.
That's not good. No leap for me today.
So there is a strat called the Leap of Faith here, where you kind of stop the platforms and you get directly to the wall and climb up. But
good. Yeah, but I missed like one input and then it's over. No chance.
Yeah, and also people that have played this game casually have probably died a lot to those green platforms, and the reason for that is that they actually are... Oh, don't be like me and Miss Malskip. The reason for that is that the green platforms actually are glitched, and they can eat your dash inputs. If you try to dash like from a standstill, or
Something like that. So pretty big time save.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things in these games that are actually triggered by like touching walls or panning the camera a certain way. And Bioskip being one of them. And I totally blanked out on even explaining it because it's sometimes hard to like remember, you know, like what like sometimes when you watch a run, you forget that like something isn't normal to a person that hasn't seen the run.
And again, there's lots of stuff going on. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
But yeah, the Hado, like I think I explained it earlier, but the Hado is different from the Shoryu, and the Hado is like simpler in that it just does a set 32 damage. There's no trickery there. It's just if it hits the boss, it deals 32 damage, and that is that.
And another thing, like, it's usually a one-shot for Kuwanger, but as soon as it starts teleporting...
Yeah.
That can be... tricky. Let's call it that.
Yeah. So the trick to the spider is that the spider always crosses every horizontal line that it comes across. And there was actually a frame perfect kill. If the eye doesn't open up all the way, it's pretty much frame perfect.
And that was pure luck, by the way, so don't think that was skill. Yeah.
So the spider can be really tough to learn, actually.
Yeah.
Because you need to be able to read the pattern pretty quick. So it does cross every horizontal line it comes across, but it can still be pretty hard to react to it.
And
it took me a long time.
And in any percent it gets faster, the more damage it loses. So in the end it's like pretty fast, so you just have to do it. Yeah, and one thing to say, like one big difference is, as you notice, we don't have a boss rush. We have the bosses included into the stages, which is like probably my favorite thing, because I think personally boss rushes are like so uncreative. And here they at least like thought about adding some stuff.
Yeah, has to be my least favorite Mega Man meme, honestly, the boss rush.
Yeah. One guy at least. Yeah,
so, kind of similar to the Shoryu, even though you do quick kill the bosses, it's quite balanced in the sense that the Hados actually and the Shoryus aren't free by any means. There's a specific strat for every boss. It's not like you just press a button and win. You really need to do them like really well in a really specific way to land them.
Rangda.
So the Hados can actually be pretty hard. Yeah, Rangda.
Talking about RNG.
Yeah, Rangda's a big late run killer here. Nice. So Rangda can give you different eye patterns, and you basically want a specific pattern where the eyes come down, so you can Hado them. That is basically what is going on there. So it can also give you bad eyes that stay up, so you can Hado them, which is annoying on pace because you're kind of counting on the Hados. It's about an 8-second difference between like a God Rangda and a suboptimal Rangda.
Yeah. And now we have like maybe the hardest of the signal stages coming up, because there's lots and lots going on. So I'm gonna focus here.
Yeah, 3 big tricks here. So let's see if MiVu gets the first one here. Yep, that's what we call the Dillo skip. And the reason that trick works is you use the sled to zip through the wall, not wall, door, before the camera pans all the way up. So you enter the boss room without the camera having panned up, and the Dillo is actually spawned by the camera. So since the camera never pans up,
nice.
Dillo never spawns. And that trick was called Air Hado. So you need to be standing on the floor, standing on ground to land the Hado. But we can also kind of trick the game there, which is what MiVu did there. So you place sled on the wall, so X is standing on the sled. Then you pause, you swap out of the ice, and once you come out of the pause menu, X is actually still standing on ground for like 1 frame. So you have like this 1 frame. Not sure if it's 1 frame, but I want to say like 1 frame, 2 frame window there to land the Hado, like quote unquote in the air. Well, I guess not quote unquote in the air. You are in the air, but like as far as the game is concerned, you're standing on ground for a little bit.
Another trick that looks super cool.
Yeah. But it's really not like super hard unless you're on pace. Then it's impossible.
Everything is hard on pace.
Yeah. So after Air Hado, it's a pretty straightforward stage
Yeah, there's only
until the boss after this one. Although I am known to have tripped on Mammoth on pace a couple of times, even though you never should, but I have.
Like a week or 2 ago, I jumped straight into him because for whatever reason I didn't walk right, I jumped right. So, like, sometimes the brain just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the final trick here is called, well, Domtuken or DRX Hado, kind of depending.
Nice.
Yo, nice. So basically, DRX, the bottom part of DRX, the boss there, like it doesn't deal damage to you, and you can like stand on top of it. So it is possible for you to dash right in front of it, then jump up, and kind of do the Hado input on the ground, and then like as you jump up, you land, and then you can still press shoot. Because what I should have mentioned was there's a 20 frame window, like after the quarter circle forward and the shoot input. So you don't have to do like the input and then shoot. There's a pretty big window there, so you can do the Hado input on the ground and then get on top of DRX and then shoot.
I mentioned in X2 how like the game is never over. And here, like, if you're not, like, super close on pace, there is not much that can happen. The only thing is, like, you get bad claw RNG, but even that, like, wastes, depending on how bad it gets, maybe 3 to 5 seconds. But everything I just did is scripted. Like, if you do it right, there's no way to miss it. And now we have the final boss, which cannot be killed by the Hadouken.
Yeah, unfortunately, can't. Even though you always have that one guy who says that, oh, I killed Wolf Sigma with Hado when I was 4 years old, but no, you didn't, because you can't. So yeah, basically he only takes damage from Rolling Shield and the pink shot, like the fully charged Buster shots.
And time.
And time, GG. Nice run.
12. That's, with a death, that's decent.
Yeah, true, true. Thanks for playing.
Thank you very much for great commentary, Timo. So give a shout out to Timo, people. That was amazing. And super helpful, especially since it's, what, 5 AM for you?
5 AM, yeah.
Yeah, 4 AM here in Germany. Yeah. Okay.
This was definitely the first time in my life that I've had an alarm clock set up at 3 AM to do something Mega Man X or video game related, and that's never happened before.
I hope I will never
on a Saturday.
I hope I will never put you into that position again.
It's okay.
All right, people.
All right, people.
Thank you all for being here. Please support this great cause. I'm going to make a donation myself in a bit, and yeah, take it away, Feasible. Thank you for having me. Thanks for the great cause, and enjoy your time. Goodbye.
Thanks, guys.